that once for Luke. I was very upset.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining. My name is Faith Imani Hicks, Imani Hicks, the creator, also known as Work, Miss Miyagi Work. And today we are gathering, as we normally do, quick and efficient, presenting our Black Writers Retreat. Okay, we'll probably go more into like what we're doing for this week, but I just want y'all to introduce yourselves and like we can get started.
Hello, my name is Daryl Spearman. I'm a writer, dancer, singer songwriter, and a developing author.
Hello, my name is Christopher Bell, and I am a screenwriter, like freestyle poet, and painter.
Banner. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I have a poem to share, y'all. I want to share it real quick. Um, so something I really wanted to be intentional about is making sure that I go back to um okay, T is joining us. Let's say hi. T. Hey. Oh.
This meeting is being recorded. Fair disclaimer.
Okay. So let's
Hey, Tiara.
yeah. She's
Sorry,
at
I'm
work.
still in work.
Yeah. Okay. I guess this is called Heartbroken in Paris. Okay.
Ooh,
Heart
I was just saying the title. It's like, wow.
Oh, okay. Heartbroken in Paris. Such a cliche. Crying over baguettes to catch my tears. Hiding my matted hair in a beret. The beauty of language. Because for once, people look and at least act like they know what I'm saying. Words with meaning, yet still limited by conjugations, both feminine and masculine, giving way to meaning. A reminder that the love lost of my lover, even in a foreign language, seeks memories I sought to separate from, lose myself in tongues that speak truths that I can't even interpret to understand, because the lies you've spoken happen to be easily interpreted and saddening to understand. So, yeah, that happened.
Wow. Heartbroken in Paris.
I love it though. I really love it.
Dang. And like kind of thinking about like, you know, I guess topics of like intentionality in progress. Just what are some themes that you find yourself revisiting as you write?
Yeah, I think this idea of me being a hopeless romantic, like
Mm.
confronting it and what it means, what it looks like. Um I don't know. I feel like media sometimes glamorizes it. I feel like especially in like Euphoria. I don't know if y'all have seen Euphoria, but
Yeah.
um so I just kind of wanted to address it in a different perspective that I can relate to. Um but yeah, I don't know. I love that poem. I like each time I wrote like a sentence and then a sentence longer and then a sentence longer and so then it started to add up and I felt like reading it that's how it sounded to me, but it felt good. So,
It
does any
sounded like it felt good.
I wanted to ask if anybody oh
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask because you said like speaking in tongues and things like that, like spirituality, or were you thinking of something like that while you were writing this poem, like heartbreak and things like that?
no, not at all. I think I was thinking more of like the locks on the bridge, like there's a bridge somewhere in France, I believe.
I think it is in Paris.
And where?
right? I think it is in Paris.
It's in Paris. Yeah. Um, that's kind of just was fresh in my memory of like, I don't know, what would it be like to go and even the Eiffel Tower, just the imagery. Like I wanted to take it there. Like that's kind of the things that I was thinking when I addressed it and when I wrote it. Yeah, I didn't think of spirituality. I think that was the last thing. I was thinking of love.
I feel
I
like
mean,
that's
love can be
interesting
spiritual.
because yeah, like
Yeah.
those are
Okay.
very intimate spaces that you have to explore and be vulnerable enough to even, you know, acknowledge for yourself, yet alone write about.
Mhm.
So that's really cool how you're allowed like the listener to, you know, enter your private world in that sense and just understand, you know, what love looks like for you.
Right. Right. So I want to know if anybody else want to share.
I do actually.
Okay.
Um,
We have time for only one more, so you'll be the last one to share. Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Yeah.
are we okay with that?
Oh,
Hmm? Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, I thought you were showing us your notebook.
yeah. Did you want
Is is I guess I was thinking like just in the theme or the nature of today's like or
Oh
this
wait, I
week.
love that.
Yeah, just
Also,
thinking. Writing.
your handwriting reminds me of mine.
What?
Wow, your
Yo, that's
handwriting is
awesome that I have
incredible. I've
this.
never in my life seen someone with such good handwriting.
to? Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa, I appreciate that. But like,
That,
it sounded like you already had something prepared. Like, this is me flipping through my journal. So go
Oh.
for it.
this is actually what from the prompt that Imani gave me earlier today for the
Oh wow.
writing session that we did earlier.
Mm.
And what was the question again?
Oh. Okay. Um. What
What was
makes
it?
you? Huh? Oh, what makes you feel emotionally vulnerable and safe to sexually express yourself with your future or current significant other? Be specific. Consider what can be done and or said to make you feel emotionally safe and vulnerable when it comes to engaging in sex with your partner. So, like, just from a perspective of like assuming that you want to be um, emotionally vulnerable and open and sexually expression, like that has to kind of be indicated. There's some people that just are, they're okay with casual sex. And so I feel like they got to figure out how vulnerability plays a part into that, whether they want to accept that or not. That's kind of one thing we address in the writing prompt. But I would love to hear what you have to say. I'm sorry for adding. I just wanted to kind of
Mhm.
like let the people know a little bit what we talked about with that writing prompt.
Like a little disclaimer.
Kind of,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. That's interesting. How did I know today's topic was going to involve sexuality and sex? I
Because
just
we
felt
haven't
it.
talked about it. That's how you
We
should
just have
know.
not.
We haven't. We haven't talked about it.
Okay. Held in your embrace, there's no way to lose the smell of your I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I don't usually share these kinds of things, and I'm so happy that you
It's
gave me this.
yeah,
Yo,
It's
do
exciting. Like,
it.
it's
yeah.
exciting. Held in your embrace, there's no way to lose. The smell of your anticipation, your longing for my vulnerability, cracks me open with nothing to hold on to but your torso and your waist and your broad shoulders. Reluctance now and old sentiment lingering outside of this door as we savor each other's hidden truths, moving to the symphony of bounds breaking, unraveling into enchantment. The way that you hold on to me, discovering my reason for any timidity, a plethora of words engraved in my heart by ones long before me, my imperfections now your favorite art pieces, this gallery of hidden truths now available to only you. The pain of moonlight hovers over our skins like two bodies of water underneath fluorescent light mixing into each other. The mystery of the night sky drinking us. You remind me how alive I am as I whirl and shiver on the inside to the beautiful sounds that roll off your tongue, my dancing on the inside conjured by all of your actions. Selfless, selfless and selfish, determined to know the real me. Your agility, glistening underneath the fluorescent paint of moonlight. Now there are no compartments, just you, me, and everything I never say. Mixing on to one another, creating our own dashing medley, a sea of colors, beautiful colors, that have been contained, waiting to be released into space and time, the way you encourage me to release, carrying me to greater heights. Suddenly I'm in the mysterious sky that drowned us. Now I float in this mystery, knowing what it feels like to wander into what my imagination had to make up for so long. Searching for no home, just feeling alive. Being a human being, home on planet Earth, my dark skin, dark as night, colored in purple, black, blue, red, and colors I didn't even know lived in the sky at night. Darkness a veil for the playfulness within the mystery. You brought me because I let you, because I trust you, because I love you. I had so many questions about your ocean, your mysterious sky, and now your sky has drank me. My contents spilt all around, revealing everything, and now, recklessly, you know me. And I know all about you. We mix, and it is one of our greatest strengths. In your palms are the words I've said to you, sentiments I've revealed to only you, and some you've discovered on your own, decoding languages I've subconsciously spoken, eyes peering into my body language, supporting my changes, embracing what I already am. You rub these sentiments and truths all over my skin, mixing them in with the paint. Sorry. See, I'm at the end and I don't know what this word says. We get messy, as humans do. Your curious eyes have transmitted into enthusiasm, eyes dancing across my skin, connectedness conjured deep within. This confidence is not only mine. And I stopped. By the way, I added more to this when we got off. I spent another 20 minutes on it. That's why it's so long. But yeah, that was it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Such vivid imagery, like a lot of emphasis on moonlight and like how light kind of played a role in the bonding of these two bodies, like, and just kind of understanding how, so much can be revealed by that very light, both emotionally and intimately, in a sense.
Yeah, I have no curtains in my bedroom. So like imagine at night moonlight just like coming in. And I have this upset like I just love the way moonlight looks on our skin tones as Black people.
Mm.
It's so beautiful. So like whenever a close friend of mine stays over or something and we talk until like late and like the moonlight is just hovering over our skin, like it's just so pretty. And I always think of that. And I love painting. So like I love talking about like emotions and truths being mixed in together as you like have sex with someone else that you feel passionate about, that you really care about, someone who knows you honestly and like the things you've said to them. Like it's like kind of mixing colors of paint that otherwise would not have if you didn't take that chance. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I was just thinking that. So, yeah. Ooh, wow. You're
Thank
making
you
me
for
think
that
about so much.
prompt.
Yeah. Well, this is Writer Circle. So, like, okay. So, the format is going to be um like not afternoon, let me not say afternoon, like morning um writer session is going to be a prompt, and then writer circle, it should just be a time to share. Okay, so we can share anything that we have creatively. Writing is welcome, of course, but like I feel like, Chris, you have some like amazing things that we've seen in your journal. Like, do you want to share? Do you want
And
to?
also, I haven't heard anything from you in so long. I really want to hear. I'll
Yeah,
stay until 7. I'll stay until 7.
are you sure?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's
Okay.
just that the next meeting starts at 7 and I went to like grab a snack, but it's
Mhm.
fine. I want to
You can
hear.
always turn your video off or whatever you need to do. But yeah, let's see, Chris. Like what?
Ah, it's wild because I literally just I write things and then I let them be written and I leave them alone. you
Right.
know, I, I don't usually share them, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity. This is a chance for,
Yara's
you know,
reaction.
Wow, you
this
have
is-
really good handwriting. After all, you're an artist, so it's like
oof.
everything is on point. You're
Yo,
everything's on point for you.
much appreciate. Okay, so
Yeah.
if anything, I need to show you a piece of like a piece of art, like after a written piece that I really have been kind of
Oh
meditating on,
wow.
and that kind of revealed something to me that like kind of like how when we write, like I really admire when writers can go back to their pieces and without like completely destroying them, like kind of revise and keep writing and keep adding to them, because sometimes it's difficult to linger in that emotional space where you're writing from, or like to revisit that emotional space if you've already moved on and healed and grown from it. So I guess these are kind of more like narrative pieces that I've written when I'm going on adventures. It
Mm.
says, something I have come to notice today while out and about is, oh, let's see, assisting, my mother on such a historical day. I see how there is a stillness in the air and on the land. All is well. The strongest part of it all, the strangest part of it all, is that since the stay at home orders have been implemented, there has been a, let's see, what is that word? A mayor? Oh, there has been a major decrease in petty crime and arrest. I'm sure that the boys in blue got antsy with noticing with nothing to do. Um, then Floyd, then Floyd, jeez, hold on, sorry. That's it. The strangest part of it all, that since the stay-at-home orders have been implemented, there has been a major decrease in petty crimes and arrests. I'm sure the boys in blue got antsy with nothing to do. ... Then Floyd's blood filled the streets. Let's see what was on the back.
I love
I
the
think,
blood filled the streets part.
yeah, it was like wild because it was trying to show the juxtaposition of how calm and still and peaceful everything was. And then out of nowhere, it seemed like the most chaotic, like inhumane thing happened, and it really got the world's attention to what was been going on all along. So that really stood out. Something, here it is. It says, today I will eat the lobster mac and cheese with balsamic vinegar. I'm reflecting on how I've been investing in my future and present as I create opportunities for myself to excel, and I live the life I want to preserve or pursue. Something told me to go into town today, so I, let's see, rallied and caught a shuttle. The first and seemingly only stop took me to exactly where I needed to be. The heart, the heat, sorry, the boat show begins tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I am looking forward to watching favor of the Lord operate on my behalf. Thank you, Jesus, for another beautiful day of life, health, and strength. Amen. And that was interesting because like I didn't know where the shuttle was gonna go. So I got off, and that's where I made all these really amazing connections. I got to like spend time next to the water and just reminisce and kind of enjoy my privilege in a sense. And it was fascinating being surrounded by other people who were enjoying their privilege and not feeling the need to compare myself, but rather just bask in it. So yeah, that's what I have to share so far. And
Can
then
I ask, um,
Mhm.
the one about where you talked about George Floyd, was that during like quarantine when you wrote that?
Yes,
And what
it
about the
sure
other
was.
ones?
Looks like June 7th.
Oh, I need to date my. I love that you do that.
It takes so much effort to date them sometimes, and I have to practice writing the year.
Yeah, I really love how like that piece alone, like what you wrote that day, like it just brought me back to that day. And like without even knowing the date or time, I just knew. Like when
Exactly
you
that.
talked about the stillness, and like right before this, you and I were talking about stillness and
Hmm.
how we want to, like what we're doing to
Be
keep that
intentional.
balance. Yeah, and then you mentioned that, and like I got to imagine this place and like the land that you mentioned, and then s- George Floyd's blood filling the place, and
Almost like a dark cleansing or something. Like it was
yeah,
weird. Like as if like the earth or like the land knew that something chaotic was about to happen because it was so still.
I could remember like being I was on my bed that day writing or something, and then I opened like Instagram,
Mm.
and like what was such a peaceful time for me just became so chaotic.
Mm.
I want to write. I didn't even write about that. I kind of just talked to people about it,
Mhm.
but
Mm.
you kind of encouraged me to write about that moment because it was a lot for me personally.
Right. Wow. I admire you being able to reflect on that too. And like to be able to connect with it emotionally in that sense, because that is a time that a lot of people would probably rather forget, as you can tell when with all these, reluctancy to create stay at home orders again, everybody wants to just get back to what they knew. Wow. Oh, and then I guess that art piece can give me 2 seconds. Thank you. And here, I used to. This painting is titled
Oh,
Juniper Frost, and like I really admire kind of Darrell how you were talking about how like night lighting looks so good on like melanin on dark skin, and how it almost feels like fluorescent lights and ambient lights always kind of reach us and kind of resonate with our melanin as like black and brown people.
Mm.
So it's just really like something I really love night photography. So for the first time, I tried to capture it as a painting,
Mhm.
and I wanted it to like show how one color green can maintain its autonomy while also still blending in with its natural surroundings, and how there's different depths and tones and shades and colors and how they all work together. So there's that. That was kind of just more of like a lighthearted piece. But this one's a bit more intense. So disclaimer, I was studying Caravaggio paintings by Michelangelo. And this piece was somewhat traumatic,
Mm.
but it was fascinating to kind of see how this was the art that they would paint in chapels. Like
Mm.
this is the scene from the Bible when I believe it was Joseph tried to sacrifice his
Oh.
son. Yeah. So something about that though, and how Michelangelo captured the raw intensity while also capturing like making it seem kind of painterly and poetic. That kind of like bothered me in a way that I had to try to recreate it to see like, is it really that beautiful, or was it like something that should be, dare I say, like protested, like these are things you can walk into the 16th chapel and like look at, there's all types of violence back then, but it was just shown in a way or communicated through a medium that made it seem less abrasive. Oh yeah,
Wow.
this was on
You want
March
to-
4th.
You make me want to pull out all of my art supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
It won't be like the, it won't be good like yours, of course, but like
So
I really love the how you capture like the fluorescence um of like night photography in those kinds of settings. Like that is just I just love using colors to like just reflect something. That is just so wow, that is incredible.
Hopefully one day. Like, do you personally like? Do you like to add like written pieces to go with your paintings? Like, how does that work for you?
I
Do
I
those
have
mediums overlap?
I did it once. I did it twice, and a painting that I painted like just a few weeks ago, I wrote something about. I actually have it right here. If anybody wants to
Yes.
see. Um, it's just I showed Imani this once. Yeah. Um, but it's basically it's on a yard canvas because I was just like painting random things.
Mhm.
oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love that.
Can you
So
bring it closer to the camera?
Did you
yeah.
add to that?
No, this is the same way I showed you. I did it
Wow.
all in one sitting. So basically, this is an audience, and these are like heads, basically,
Mm.
Whoa.
and different
Yeah, it looks
people.
like a Coachella concert.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be like the stage. It basically like reflects my dreams of like being a performer and stuff like that. And
Manifesting.
it's funny because at first I was like attempting to paint this. I sometimes have like a good photographic memory. So I was trying to paint the sky at first when I saw like the train. I missed my train that the day before that, and I saw like an image of like the train going, and the sky. It was like 4:30 p.m. and like the sun was setting at the time, and it was just so pretty. And then once I got to the blue, but I like to use like the colors in like fragments, so like instead of like doing it straight through, I like to like play around with it. But once I got to the blue, I started to see heads, and I was like, this is an audience. So I just went with that. But I did write a piece about it, and it was just really cool to kind of like use my skills as a writer to provide like something that would help someone understand just me like playing around on a canvas and
Mhm.
reflecting something from within. But yeah, it was really fun.
Wow.
I'm not
That's
gonna
like
lie.
vision boarding.
Hmm.
Sorry. Who said that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, the color scheme, it remind me of the Proud Family. Like I feel like there's a couple of episodes where there would be audience members and like you wouldn't see them, but you know they're there.
Yeah, it looked like Ghost, right?
Yeah, and
I was watching it and I was like, what is that?
hmm hmm But I really love that though, like how. And didn't you say you wrote something? Like, did you write? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad you've been watching The Proud Family because I've been watching it every week. It's so
No,
good.
I haven't been watching the new episodes. I,
Oh, you mean the old episodes?
yeah,
Oh, so they were doing that
especially
before. I
those.
didn't
Yeah,
notice.
because they really have some like scribble.
They still do.
Like, but it's so like meaningful. I feel like with what it represents, because it's like it could be not like it could just be that, but you know what it represents. Like that's what I like about it.
That makes me think of The Sims is very detailed now, but when I started playing it when I was a kid, like The Sims 1 and 2, like if you zoomed out a few like inches, you would see like something that was so detailed turn into like this. It would be like,
Right.
Is that real? What is
yeah,
that?
it's a dry flower.
What? It almost looked like it was like crochet. Crochet. What's the plural form of crochet?
I have no idea.
Is
Crocheted.
there a plural?
Crocheted, right?
Yeah, I was like, is there a TTED at the end? Or whoa. Okay. Does anyone like? Does someone like? Does anyone else want to add or like share?
Yeah, honestly, if not, we can wrap up. Um, see, how are you doing? I want to tap in with you.
I'm weak. I'm doing good. Been a little scatterbrained today, so I apologize for like only popping in and popping out every single time. But
Anyways,
I'm doing good.
okay.
Um, I don't have my notebook on me. I'm hiding out in my car right now, so I don't have my notebook on me to share
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
anything right now. I do have some poems that I've been doing, but there's the rest of this week, so
Right.
I'll come through with some things.
Okay.
Imani, what
Yeah.
about what you wrote earlier when we did that prompt?
Yeah. Let's
She's
do
always acting shy.
Right?
it.
I know, but then she like spits fire. Like you gotta. It's like I feel like you're in that what's it called, Khaleesi phase. Like at the beginning of the Game of Thrones, like she's like kind of real quiet and docile,
Yeah.
and then like as she recognizes her power, like and her birthright, like she
Imani's
becomes
like, I
unstoppable.
don't know. I don't know. And then it's crazy.
Okay, so all right. I think the reason why I'm like that is because it was a very vulnerable, like I feel like vulnerability played a big part in like what I had to. Okay, I'm just gonna read. Okay. If you're not comfortable, I don't want it. I just want to make you happy. I want to satisfy you. I'd like to know that the sex that I have is reciprocated. I like to feel like it's a selfless act, but as much as we give, we will receive. I like to imagine sex that heals. Therefore, I think it is important for my next partner to know about my past so we can both intentionally manifest a love so strong that the sex affirms this connection. Um, what's done? Cuddles without sex, forehead kisses, patience. I've experienced my sexual expression having to do a lot with my curvy body. At such a young age, I've been told that's too short, take that off, that's too fast. So I feel like I've internalized my body as sex. However, as I'd like to redefine my body as a culmination of my experiences, both good and bad, I am learning now that my body is not sex, but has been sexualized. This is the reason why I feel like adding cuddling without sex and forehead kisses are so sacred. Um, and then I add reaffirming physical, emotional intimacy that can be given by your significant other, family, or close friends is what's sacred. To add, when patience is added, uh, it's a key factor in me feeling like I can be emotionally vulnerable and safe to sexually express myself. And so I ended there. Like honestly, I feel like my writing is turning into like just pure honesty journal entry. Like that's kind of what it was giving, and like that's why I didn't want to read it. But like I'm happy I did because I guess it was on me, it was in me, and I just feel like it kind of maybe sounded like I was dumping. But what did y'all think?
Honestly, it didn't sound like you were dumping. I
No?
went to this open mic and they had like an interview with one of the poets that was there. She was talking about how like whenever you write, you have to be honest. Like you have to be truthful in your writing because otherwise, one, people are not gonna feel it because they're gonna know it's just like you writing whatever you need to write. But it's also healing, like you said, just being able to write out the truth. It doesn't always have to be something that's like, rhyming or all that. But that sounded good. Like it still hit, in my opinion. It was really good.
Same. It sounded like it came from you.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important, like Tiara said. Cause, or if not, what's the point? Like you could write it any way you want. You can do like a metaphorical piece, you could do a poem, you could just straight say what you need to say. Like, we as writers, I feel like we know which which tone or which way we need to do it. And that's just from instinct. So you approaching it like that is because you felt that that was what it was supposed to be, you know?
And truthfully, I have to add this. Like, I challenge everyone right now to like be like embrace that level of honesty, because Langston Hughes is one of my heroes. You know, like one of my literary like muses. You know, so I've been reading his autobiography a lot more, and I just realized like he's very reserved. Like he kind of came from an era, he was surrounded from like his grandmother, you know, like he was raised by his grandmother for a portion of the time. And, you know, they were very conservative. They're very like, they don't believe in telling, you know, their business, yet alone someone else's business. So, and that was just something I'm kind of hoping to unlearn in a way, because there's so much more I wish I had known about him, but he only tells us just a bit. He gives us like fragments, and the rest you have to kind of fill in the blanks, you know?
Right.
And so by you being able to be so transparent, your readers, you know, decades from now, centuries from now, hopefully, will still be looking back and be like, wow, like she gave us everything, you know, like they'll be able to respect and admire you even more for that.
Right.
That also makes me think of something Tiara said to me when we did A Little for the World last year. She said something about like people like younger relatives in the future being able to look back on everything you shared in your writing and your vulnerability, and they can see, because you know a lot of us come from families like, you know, specifically black people come from families who don't really talk about things a lot of the time, certain things. um so like, you know, and them reading your work and having like a more shut out environment possibly, and knowing that what they feel is real.
Mm.
Yeah. And I feel like as I come back home and circle back to these themes, I think that's why it's coming out more of honestly what's being really what makes me safe is a reminder of home, of me being in my body and owning my body, you know, and having agency over
Mm.
what's done, when it's done, how it's done, and also redefining like, you know, my body was sexualized. I am not like, you know, and that's the thing. I am a sexual being very much so, but that's not all that I am. That's like not all of my experience. I'm also black. You know, like I feel like for me that's something I wanted to get off across in that poem of like understanding at first it's about emotional intimacy. For
Mm.
me, for me. Core.
and
Core.
and you provided like a type of template for young readers, young
Wow.
to be able to define for themselves, yeah,
Yeah.
what sexuality, what sexualization, and what intimacy looks like. Because a lot of times those lines can be blurred through social media.
Yeah. And I feel like I really am gonna revise and add to this poem. I think like it's giving me very much so like not a little bell hooks Audre Lorde type vibe where they reflect and they have essays. So I think if I go back and be more intentional about the work that I'm doing, it'll kind of come across a little bit better. Like I think keep
Mhm.
writing is just what I'm saying. And if no one else had anything to share, I would like to wrap up. We will be joining tomorrow. If you can, tomorrow at let me see, what is it? So unprofessional. Tomorrow at 10:45 PST.
And 1:45 EST.
Yes.
That's just want to
Oh,
be clear. The 10 is at AM, right?
AM.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at the dance studio at 1:30 EST, so I won't be able to.
Okay.
Um, is there what time is the writer's circle?
We can do an earlier time too.
Evening?
Evening?
I can't do
Yeah.
evening either because I'm gonna be sharing poetry at this open mic.
Yeah, I feel like early works best
Mhm.
for me. What works? Well, okay, so we'll arrange that in the group chat. Okay, send your availability when you can make it, when you can't. I'll propose some times and we can get it together there. Okay. All right, but it will be on Zoom. Okay, so Daryl, if you can share that link at any time, after we get the time, like whatever specific time together. All right. Thank
Yeah.
y'all for joining this writer circle. All right. Bye, T. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Of course. See y'all later.